Okay, so we subtracted half from both sides of the equation, and when the dust cleared, we had 2/3 x on this side, and when we combined those, we added them together, we got -5/4. You could say that it was -3/4 subtract half, right? And when I say I added them together, it's because if I rewrote that, oh my, I wrote a 1 instead of a 3. If I rewrite this, this would be subtract, would be add the opposite. And so that's what I mean by I added them, right? They're both negative, and when I turned it into an add. So anyway, so now I'm here and I want to solve for x. I put my finger on x and I want to divide by what I see because this is multiplying onto x, 2/3 times x. So I want to divide by 2/3. I want to undo the multiply of 2/3. And there's a lot of different ways, my choice on how I write that, right? So I could write this looking like this, 2/3 x divided by 2/3. I could write it like that, equals -5/4 divided by, not the best 5/4, I'll leave it though, 2/3. And when the dust clears, 2/3 divided by 2/3 is 1. So this is 1x, which is x. And on this side of the equation, if I wanted to do it by hand, I could say, well, what this means is -5/4 divided by 2/3. And what that means is -5/4 times 3/2. Nothing reduces, right? And so that's 15/8, right? So this is -15/8. And it's okay to leave it as 15/8. It's also okay for me to, so this is all in my head, right? And it's also okay to write it as a mixed number if I like. My choice. I'm going to leave it there as -15/8. The other thing I could do if I wanted, instead of working this out the way I did, is I could do it in my calculator, and I did want to show you that. So I can hit the fraction key, and then upstairs in the numerator, right, so this is what I have here. I want the numerator and I want the denominator. So in the numerator upstairs, I want another fraction. And so I forgot the negative. I'm going to go out to the side here and put the negative. 5, and then downstairs the 4. And then when I get downstairs, I want another fraction. So I hit the fraction, and I got 2/3. So that is what I originally had written, and now it'll do it, and it gives me -15/8. I expected it would give me the same answer as when I did it by hand, and so that's wonderful. And so that's how that could look. There's other ways, of course, that you could do that. I'm not going to tell you too many ways because XYZ has videos and they have other ways and they show you how to do them. And so this is example 8 from whatever section we're in, 1.3, and you can go watch those videos and see other ways, and you can tell me which way you like better. And so anyway, and then always check your answer. So this is 2/3 times, that's where x was, right? 2/3 x plus half. So I put equals -3/4. And where I put the parentheses, that's what I'm going to put in what I said x was, which is -15/8. And then my choice, whether or not I want to do this with my calculator or my head, right? You can choose whichever one you want to use. I can start doing the math there, right? Certainly a fraction times a fraction, I can do it. And then I'm going to add two fractions together. I'd have to get a common denominator or to add them. But I think I will allow myself to put it in my calculator. So 2/3 times -15/8 plus half. And I'm hoping that's -3/4. And I use my calculator. You can use your head if you want. I won't cross my head out and smile. And so it worked. We did a good job. And then I have a note. Always check your answer. Then you can find your own mistake and fix it. If you don't check your answer, then even if you tell me I only made one small mistake when I was solving it, if you don't check your answer, you made a big mistake, because the big mistake you made was not checking to make sure that you had it right. And so you need to make sure that you do check your answer. And I give you a place to check. And people always ask me, they'll come up during their test and they'll say, do I have to write anything here in the check? I can check it in my head. Or whatever have you. And I usually don't make people write anything if you can check it in your head, but I'll tell you, I think to most people that means I'm not going to check it. I'm just not going to bother. And then you're making the mistake of now possibly getting it wrong. If I made one arithmetic boo-boo here, then I would have the wrong answer, and I would be able to find out that I had the wrong answer. And people often do make a boo-boo when solving. It can happen. And the boo-boos they make are arithmetic. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.